Welcome back to the Homeowner's Roof Guide, brought to you by Rainstoppers Roofing. My name's Jake Vinegar, and with me as always is Mr. Scott T-Bay. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? We need it. We need a day in the office to catch up on some of this paperwork with all this insurance stuff we've got going on with this hailstorm. So, as much as I'd like to see the sunshine, we could definitely use a day to pump the brakes and get caught up in the office. Yes, it has. Well, when the marketing guy's out doing roof inspections, things got wild.
And for those of you that don't know me, I am terribly afraid of heights. Going and checking these roofs, showing up at people's houses. Aren't you getting up there? No, I'm not. I'm just gonna fly my drone and get as close as I can. But
Yep.
there's been a few. I've been getting better though. I've been getting a little froggy.
Fortunately, we've got good enough drones that really, honestly, there's no sense in the safety risk to get on a roof when you can just put one of these nice drones up in the air around the whole house in 10 minutes and we can detect everything you've got. So that's a big plus.
Absolutely. And the one that I got, I'm getting better pictures from the drone that I can with my phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's crystal clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in addition to this, you were on social media the other day and you had showed me a post from someone that was asking for recommendations on shingle versus metal. And I feel like this is a question that just gets thrown around all the time. Everybody has their own personal preferences, but I feel like today would be a good day to kind of dig into that and see where your mind was on which side of the fence you stand on, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So that particular post was on like MOV What's Happening or something like that, one of the local posts or one of the local pages. And that thing had 200 and some comments, right? I wasn't even going to throw a comment in because it was 50-50, right? Like there's not necessarily a right or a wrong. Opinions are opinions, right? So what I would like to address is the facts, what is factually correct and what we present to our customers. So I saw, and I'll just tell you kind of the gist of what I saw. I saw homeowners saying contractors prefer shingles because it's job security because they don't last. And then I saw contractors saying, no, that's wrong. There's reasons we don't like metal because we don't want to deal with leaks over time and put our name behind it. Yeah, so it was going both ways. Lot of controversy back and forth. Here's what I'll present. So yes, most contractors prefer shingle roofs. The misconception homeowners have been given is that metal will last forever. I saw 30 comments say, go metal, it lasts forever. That is true, but there are different kinds of metal roofs. They're not all the same. So what lasts virtually forever, nothing lasts forever, obviously, but what will last a significant amount of time, what we would probably consider a lifetime, would be called a standing seam metal roof. With standing seam, there's no exposed fasteners. There's just no points in there to leak other than possible penetrations, like a boot going bad. But, I mean, if you use good, proper silicone boots, they're probably going to last 30 years. And in 30 years, you can replace the boots and probably get another 30 years out of that. That's a very simple fix. You can replace all the boots on a metal, on a typical metal roof, say it's got 3, you can replace all of those in an hour. Right? Like not a big deal, not a big maintenance expense. It's not something you got to maintain continuously. It's the best roof on the market. And in my opinion, that is an opinion. That is not a fact, but I do believe that to be the best roof you can buy. The issue with standing seam metal is cost. So with something that's going to outlast your life potentially, it comes with a high price tag. So a typical standing seam job for us, what we typically see is it's going to be about somewhere, depending on the job, 2 to 3 times the cost of a dimensional shingle roof or a traditional screw down metal. So when you're trying to look at value, which is what we want to give our homeowner, we want to give our homeowner the best value we can. Of course, there are homeowners that have an unlimited budget or whatever, or love the look of standing seam, and to them the value doesn't necessarily matter as much. They want the best. That's who that roof's for, and that's perfectly fine. But if we're going to sell value to a customer and give them an honest, good value, what we have to look at is, can we put a shingle roof on this house and it's going to last 30 years? And to argue with me and say shingle roofs don't last 30 years, you can argue that. And there are situations, you're right. But if you hire a good quality contractor such as Rain Stoppers or some of the others locally here, we should be able to get you minimum 25 years, likely at least 30 years. We're warranting the workmanship if you buy the warranty for 25 years. So for 25 years, that roof is guaranteed if you buy the warranty, which is not real expensive either. So let's say you get 30 years out of a roof. You got to buy it twice in your life. Total cost value would be equivalent to 2 times, which is the low end of standing seam, right? So we said shingles are 2 to 3 times a shingle roof. What's the chances you're going to need to buy 3 shingle roofs in your life when they're lasting, say, 25 to 30 years? It doesn't make sense, right? Like, that doesn't add up. So metal on the other side, let's backtrack. So let's look at traditional metal. We've canceled out the metal lasts forever. That's standing seam. That is not what you guys on Facebook are talking about. There's very few standing seam roofs in Marietta, Ohio. I look at roofs all day, every day. There's very few of them in Marietta, Ohio. They're not very. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about traditional 3 foot wide, 5 rib screw down metal. Got fasteners right through the face of it every 2 feet. That's what we're talking about. Versus asphalt shingle, 3-dimensional shingles. So price comparison, they're going to be close in price. Now you'll find some guys, and this is not a knock, this is not a slander, that will put metal over top of existing shingles. We do not. We don't believe in that. We think that that's a terrible practice. We used to, but then we got educated, and we did it long enough that we realized that it's just not the best practice. If there is a leak, it's extremely hard to find because you've got 2 layers of material there that it's leaking through and it's finding its way in. So it's really hard to find on the surface. And there's just reasons we just don't really care for that. It's you don't get to inspect the decking properly. There's, don't get to give the quality of roof we want to put our name on. If we're going to tear off shingles and put metal on, and then we're going to tear off shingles and put shingles on, the price is fairly similar. Typically, metal will come in a little higher because the material itself does cost more, especially right now. Steel prices are up quite a bit. So we are seeing metal come in higher than shingles. Where the performance difference lies, in my opinion, is the idea of a roof. The way they're designed is for watershed. So in what we call steep roof applications, which is anything that's not flat, you've got flat roof applications and you've got steep roof applications. So anything with a pitch, with slope, that's going to be steep roof. The idea is the rain hits it, it runs down, right? It's not going like that. It hits it, it runs down. So when we shingle, we've got a shingle here, we've got a row of nails, the next shingle overlaps those nails. All the way to the top, there's not one single exposed nail in a shingle roof. If it is, it's not installed properly. There is no exposed fasteners in a shingle roof. In a screw-down metal roof, there is thousands, and that's not an exaggeration. Literally, we buy bags of screws, and we're putting 10 whole bags of screws, 15 whole bags of screws. I mean, we're talking thousands of screws in a typical roof. With those screws, we've got options. We've got just the entry-level screw that is really, really poor performance, and the washer will dry rot. It's going to break, it's going to crack, it's going to be a leak. I saw people on Facebook, I'd rather replace my screws every 10 years than have to put a whole new roof on. That's a great thought, right? Until you go to do it. The issue is now, and I have done this, like I've literally myself, my hands done this. Got called to go do a re-screw job. We go to do a re-screw job, and we always buy oversized shank screws, which are more expensive, but that way we're pulling out of a hole, we go back in and with a little bit bigger shank to try to get better bite. The issue is, especially in like OSB decking, any water that's got in that screw, and maybe it hasn't showed itself inside the house, but it's minimal. It's a little bit. And that decking over time has just gotten a little wet and a little wet and a little wet. What's soft. So even when you go to run that bigger screw in, there's not enough solid wood there anymore for that screw to bite and suck down against that rubber washer. So now we have a hole in our roof that we cannot properly seal. The only way to seal it is to go in the attic and put some sort of blocking in there to screw against, so we can basically create a clamp, right? And we're going to clamp that fastener down, or you use some sort of liquid sealant like a silicone caulking or something, and hope that it holds up. Because I mean, that's what you're doing. You're hoping at this point. If we have thousands of screws in this thing, right, and every one of them can be a potential leak point, as a contractor, why would I want to install that and put my name on it? When I can put a product on your house that comes from the factory with a 50-year material warranty. I've got one right now. It's multiple years old. It has no extended warranty. GAF is going to help get this roof replaced. Not full value because it does have some depreciation, but they're going to pay for a big part of it because the material did not perform the way it was supposed to over the lifetime. Comes with a 40-year manufacturer warranty, but only on one thing. That's the paint. We only offer a 1-year labor warranty on metal. The reason being, we see screws back out. So the other issue is people say, well, we can get lifetime screws. That's all we use. We won't do it without, we call them ZXLs. We do not use anything else anymore. The issue is I was on a roof just yesterday. I should have brought a picture to this, but I was on a roof yesterday. I had ZXL fasteners in it. I think I found like 8 screws that were standing out of the roof this far. Metal expands and contracts. Every time it gets hot and cold, it's moving. Those screws can slowly back out. Well, what's that do? Now there's no longer a seal around that hole. It's going to leak every time. This roof was done just a few years ago. I mean, it's fairly new, and it's got the best fasteners in it. It looked fantastic. I mean, the install, it wasn't us. I went and did it because it was a hail inspection. It looked like a great job. Multiple screws backed out and are going to leak. So there's just multiple reasons that it doesn't make sense. So your warranty, you're just getting the paint warranty. There's no other warranty on metal. They said it's not going to peel, chip, or flake. That's basically what it says. So you get that warranty. You get 1-year labor install warranty from us. That's all we're going to offer. Or you go shingles, minimum, you get 5-year labor warranty through us, 50-year material warranty on the whole product, degranulation, discoloration, delaminate, anything with that product that fails prematurely is warranted. 5-year labor warranty from us, or you can spend a little extra money and have GAF give you a 25-year workmanship warranty that I can personally attest to. We have went and done multiple years, or actually we've even done a replacement, that someone had a gold pledge warranty for 25 years. They went out of business. GAF called us, said, hey, you're an ex-master elite in that area. Can you go give me a quote to fix this? We gave them a quote to replace the whole thing. They paid the full bill. Customer didn't pay a dollar, not $1. And it's honestly super easy to deal with them too. Like I said, I just filed a work claim the other day, and it's the most simple process I've ever dealt with. So as contractors, it's not job security. It's what can we put our name behind that we trust the most, right? And if you're going to let me put standing seam on, you're going to pay 2 to 3 times the cost of shingles all day, baby. I will put that on every house that I can get on, because I know I'm not coming back. That is a great roof that's going to last that homeowner the rest of their life. But if I can't do that, I want to put a shingle roof on that's going to hold up. It's going to hold up through the weather. It's going to look good. There's no maintenance. There's no real maintenance to do, like going back every 10 years and replacing screws, which likely won't hold up anyway. It's just, to me, it's a no-brainer. And I know I've rambled a little bit here and kind of got off track and on track, but it's easier to explain if we're standing on a roof and we're looking at it together. But, trying to give these people that are, I guess, debating this topic some clarity, this is why.
Yeah.
The last piece I would leave you with is the contractors promoting metal. The amount of work I have seen since I've been out in the field the last couple of weeks doing these hail inspections, that is some of the worst work I've ever seen. I mean, some of the worst. And a lot of these guys, and I know who they are, and I know who installed these roofs, and I know what they promote on Facebook. A lot of these guys are pushing metal. Well, they push metal because they think it's easy. I'm going and looking at these things, and I can tell you right now, there's no way they're going to last 10 years. Like, there's too much wrong. Like, there's so many issues. People think metal is easy, and it is easy if it's just your typical old barn roof, which is what it was designed for. We literally call it ag panel, ag as in farm. It was made for farmers, an easy solution to replace roofs on their barns, because it works well when it's just a straight gable barn style roof. It works well. It's a very easy application. It was not intended for residential homes with hips and valleys and flashings, and that's not what it was made for. Can you make it work? Absolutely. We do hundreds of them a year, literally. We put tons of metal on, and we put on great looking metal roofs. But it's not what I would prefer a homeowner choose if I'm picking, because I want to put on what I think will treat them the best and serve them the best value for the years to come.
A couple little things that I was going to chime in on, but you pretty much covered
And I
it.
just kept rambling.
You just covered it all.
I'm pretty passionate on this subject because I've spent so many years literally trying to educate homeowners on this exact topic, because Well, Joe Blow came on and he told me I should do metal. It'll last forever. You're being lied to.
Mhm.
And for any homeowner coming out and saying that, you're lying to your neighbors because it's a 100% not true. And like, I'm not trying to, I could care less. I'll put on metal all day. We love it. We love installing it. It does look good. Like, we don't have a problem doing it. We'll sell as many of them as you want to bring through our door. No problem. Got great metal installers on our team. But I'm telling you, the facts are statistically, it is not going to outlast a shingle roof. The panel itself will, but that doesn't mean the drywall in your ceiling is dry. Just because the panel's still up there and didn't get blowed off in the wind doesn't mean that you don't have buckets of water in the house. That's not what we're after. We're after a dry home inside and a roof that's going to perform to do that. Metal will do that for as long as the screws will allow it. And you can tell me that you can replace them. I'm going to tell you it is not always that easy. There's usually a lot more difficulty in getting screws replaced than you think because a lot of times that sheeting has got soft around the screw and it's not going to let a screw bite anymore. So yeah, I mean, I'm passionate about it because I've literally been educating people on this for 11 years now. And that's no lie. I've always believed that, watershed is the way roofs are designed. That's why shingles are built the way they are and why they're easy to find leaks too. If there's a leak in a shingle, it's usually super obvious.
Mhm.
It's when an installer put a nail in that uh, didn't get covered. That's usually a leak. There's a missing shingle, obviously. That's a leak. They're very simple to find leaks on. Metal is very difficult to find leaks on, especially these guys that are putting it over the existing shingles. It's almost impossible. So yeah, that's why I ramble because I'm just passionate about it, I guess.
When I was actually doing some roofing installs, I was always the ground guy, and whenever it was metal day, I did really used to like installing metal because I was the cut guy, and I got to use that part of my brain that I didn't typically get to because I was always just a big dumb strong carrying it around.
Yeah. And ideally the contractor catches that and replaces that screw, but still, I mean, people will say that, right? People will say, well, you should know better. Well, obviously we know better, but in the matter of a couple hours, we're driving a couple thousand screws. Could you just miss that one? Like, been talking we're humans. Human error is always a factor. It's always a factor. Maybe you over tightened it while you were talking to your buddy standing next to you and just didn't catch it. You over tightened it. I mean, it happens. And for anybody to say, well, we're not good because of that, there's no contractor in the world that's ever stepped off a roof and not had one over tightened from time to time. It just happens, so
I'd ask the person that says that, have you ever dropped the ball at work? Have you
right.
ever missed something? Missed a detail?
Right. And the thing is, it's such a small detail, right? Like you're putting this whole roof on with all these thousands of screws and you screwed up one and that's the leak. You know what I mean? Like it's such a small detail. We do a lot of it. I just prefer selling the customers what I believe to be the best value. You can buy a shingle roof. For us, honestly, the price works out to be, and I've done enough of these to know it's pretty close. If you buy a shingle roof from us, and you buy the extended warranty to where you get 25-year workmanship warranty, 25 years, that's about the same cost as what we charge for metal. Because like I said, we do tear off where a lot of guys are not tearing off the shingles existing. We do tear them off every time. You're getting a 40-year paint warranty and a 1-year labor warranty versus a 25-year labor warranty and a 50-year material warranty on the entire product. What makes more sense? For the same money, what's the better value? Well, obviously the one with the humongous warranty that honestly is with a company that I am vouching for. And pretty much if you go online, you can look, everybody talks great about GAF warranties because they truly do stand beside them. It's not like a used car selling you extended warranty BS. This is a legitimate warranty. They don't question it as long as it meets their standards, which is pretty liberal in my opinion. Like they're not super particular about the coverage. It's just got to meet these requirements to be covered. They cover it. Done. And if you've got the gold pledge warranty for that first 25 years, it's a turnkey deal. It doesn't matter. For one of them they installed 3 layers of shingles and gave a gold pledge warranty, which is against the rules. You can't even do that. AF paid us to tear off all 3 layers and put a whole new roof on. Like, no questions asked. Homeowner said it was the easiest process he's ever dealt with in his life. Like those are like to me, I want my homeowners to have that. I don't want them to have to go replace screws in a roof in 7 years. You know what I mean? For the same money, why would I? That's silly.
So, is there anything else that you were wanting to touch on with this?
I think that's the biggest thing. I think just getting these homeowners to understand that you can have great roofs either way. It's not that metal roofs are bad, or obviously they wouldn't sell them if they were terrible or junk. Make sure your contractor's tearing off the existing layer. That's the best way. Get to a clean deck. Find the plywood, inspect it, make sure it's in good condition. Use the XL fasteners, the lifetime fasteners. Yes, they will still back out just like the old fasteners, but at least not all of them are going to end up with washers dry rotted and broken, cracked in 7 to 12 years. Yes, you're going to have some that, in my opinion, almost guarantee are going to be a problem, but at least it's not the whole roof. And make sure they're using like a good underlayment, a good synthetic underlayment. Metal does sweat, so you want a good underlayment to keep any of that moisture off of the plywood. So things like that, if you're going to go metal, that's the way to go. But again, if you're wanting the best bang for your buck, the best value, shingles is the way to go. One last thing I will mention on metal that a lot of people don't think, there's two things, is the noise. There is some noise that comes with that during rainfalls and during things like that. If you like that, I know some people from out in the country like me like that old sound of grandma's metal roof. Okay, that's fine. The other factor is cellular service. So we have seen a lot of people have issues with their cell signal after putting metal roofs on. I assume kind of like when you go in Walmart after you get toward the back of the store at Walmart, you lose signal because you're not close enough to the outdoor. There's too much blocking the cell towers. I don't know. I just know not from my personal experience, from customer experience, I have heard from past customers that, they had to go get a cell booster. Our shop is a perfect example, Jake. Actually, I do have personal experience. As soon as you walk in our metal shop, dead. There's no signal whatsoever. As soon as I put a cell booster in there, as soon as you walk outside, it's full bars. It's right in Marietta. Like, it's not full service. As soon as you walk in, you got no service. So that's a good example. I didn't even think about that one, but just a couple things to think about. There are some ulterior issues that come with that, but that's pretty much all I've got. I think hopefully we'll educate somebody.
All right. Well, Scott, thank you for hopping on here and discussing this with me, or I guess discussing this for me, because you had a lot to say about it. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to the Homeowner's Roof Guide podcast by Rainstoppers Roofing. And be sure to stick around and subscribe for the next one. Thanks.